Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is finally that time of the week again. It is time for Mangs Monday. Get hyped, kick back, relax, because the show is about to begin. On today's news and update segment, Fire Emblem Fates is finally out. Well, for some people at least. While the poor Europeans still cry out for a release date, North America, as well as those who had the sense to grab an American 3DS, is now finally enjoying the new Fire Emblem game to its fullest, and it's selling quite well. If you lived under a rock for the past week, make sure to check out me and Gast's ongoing Let's Play of Fates. We're having an absolute blast. On another note, the channel has passed 6,000 subscribers and is well on its way to reaching 7,000. My personal goal is to hit 10,000 before summertime. Can we do it? Time will tell. In today's featured Let's Play, I will once again feature my favorite Fire Emblem duo on YouTube, Don Don and Mecha. They have started another one of their famous 0% growth playthroughs, and this time it is Tracia776's turn to shine. Make sure you head over to their channel and check it out. You will not regret it. And then we come to the part of the show where I showcase a funny comment, and this time it's actually a combination of two comments that really cracked me up. The first one coming in from that guy, and he says, "Wait, Corin's the Lord in Fates, yes? Then whose cock will be stroking?" And Ruth McNally responds, "I suppose this means we can get away with calling Corin a wanker." Good job. And then we come to the Fire Emblem Babe of the Week, and since Fates is out, I think it's only fitting that we talk about one of the female characters from the game. Don't worry, there will not be any spoilers. Now, we've already done Camilla, so this week I've decided that it's time to showcase a sexy maid. And who better to start off the segment than the lovely and clumsy Felicia? Now, I really don't know what it is about maids, but I think that nearly 99% of all heterosexual males can universally agree upon that they are just sexy as hell. I think the prospect of a woman performing like services in your home is just extremely enticing, and despite the maid outfit not necessarily revealing a lot of skin, there's still just something extremely sexy about it that I can't place my finger on. Felicia is of course a cutesy. She falls and trips a lot, which means she gets to blush, and blushing girls are adorable. She also has a sister, who's also a maid. And you know what's better than one maid? Two maids. I mean, for Christ's sake, the first thing you see in Fates when your character wakes up is this. Don't tell me that's not a recreation of every guy's ultimate fantasy. Alright, so then we come to the part of the show where we read the mail, and the first mail comes in from the one and only TZ, and he says, "Hi, it's me, TC, and this time I try to be good at grammar." Well, let's see how well he does. And here is some Dorothy fan art. I searched for Dorothy fan art, and this was the first thing that popped up from a porn site for transvestites. No joke. Okay, I want to make this email short, so let's get started. 1. Who is your main in Dota, and why do you main him? I don't main him, I main her. I like Crystal Maiden. I'm a big fan of support heroes. I don't really like to play carry, because for me, it's not that I don't enjoy playing the carry role, I do enjoy it. The thing is, every time I play a carry, nobody fucking picks supports, and we don't have any wards, and the map is just black, and we get ganked all the time. So I feel like when you play pub games, you need to play support if you want a good support. And I do really like Crystal Maiden. She has a lot of control. She gives her team global mana regeneration, so she's kind of useful even if she's not doing anything. And she's hot as hell. And I just really like her ultimate. If you set it up correctly, it can be really fucking nice. She is very squishy though, so it gets a little bit tedious towards the end game where Carrie starts to one-shot you. But I do really enjoy Crystal Maiden. Anyway, 2. Dorothy, let's play. No! 3. Will you make another questions and answers with Facecam? Probably not. Maybe. We'll see. If enough people request it, then maybe. 4. Do you think that we should create self-thinking, self-acting AIs to solve Asimov's laws of robotics? No, I don't think that self-thinking, self-acting AIs is a very good idea. I think if Terminator taught us anything, it is that we shouldn't create robots capable of independent thinking. I think we should definitely create robots. It would be funny to have robots walk around and do our jobs for us. I mean, basically that's what's happening already, but like I'm thinking like really advanced robots. But no, allowing them to think independently is probably a really bad idea if we want to survive as a human race. Anyway, 5. Which is your favorite legendary weapon in Fire Emblem? Whole city for the win. I've always been a big fan of the Mjolnir. I really like the Phrygius, and I always thought that the Mjolnir had a kick-ass animation. Even though you never get to wield it, you do get to... I think it's the legendary weapon you fight against the most in Fire Emblem 4. I think, yeah, you encounter it 3 times on Ishtar and 1 time on Bloom. So you face it in 4 different fights, which I think is the most times you face one legendary weapon in Fire Emblem 4. So yeah. No, actually, and against Raptor in the first generation. So 5 times you encounter the Mjolnir. And every single time I think it looks fucking awesome. 6. When will you continue your Fire Emblem 12 and your other Let's Plays? Well, I actually have recorded a few episodes of Fire Emblem 12 already. The thing is that Awakening, my Awakening Let's Play is soon done, and right after my Awakening Let's Play, my Fates Let's Play will start. So I think that if I release my Fire Emblem 12 Let's Play, it's gonna come on top of the other ones, and it's not gonna receive as many views, or it might even steal some views away from my other Let's Plays. So I think once I'm done with Fates, probably. Who knows? 7. What do you think about katana, and do you think they're good weapons? I study quite a bit of history, and I do really enjoy reading about weapons in medieval warfare, and weapons are strong and not strong depending on the situation you're in. You have to think about, like, when you think about a weapon and whether or not it is strong, you have to think, in what situation is it strong? You have weapons that are intended for dueling, and then you have weapons that are intended for the battlefield. Like, for example, in a one-on-one duel, the pike is a very weak weapon, because you get 1 stab at your opponent, and if you miss, your opponent's going to bypass the pike, and it's going to cut you down, because you'll have no way to retract the pike, so to say. You'll have to drop it, and if you don't have a secondary weapon on hand, you're not going to be able to defend yourself. But in a formation, in a formation of units, the pike is a ridiculously strong weapon because, you know, you can literally impale the enemy before they get to you. The katana is a really good weapon. I mean, it's arguably one of the finest weapons we've seen throughout history, like at least medieval weapons. The problem with the katana is that it is ridiculously pricey and lengthy to make. So it's a reason why the samurai were so held in high esteem, because they had, like, you have to remember that, yes, the samurai did train ridiculously hard, but they were also equipped with some of the finest weapons and armor that you could get your hands on at the time. And the katana is obviously a really good weapon, but in a battle situation you can't expect to equip your entire army with it, because the making of a katana is very, very tedious. But yeah, if you just compare it to other weapons, then sure, it is a really good weapon. It has a very nice arc, a very nice curve. It slices through armor. It's very precise and strong. And yeah, it is probably one of the finest swords. In a battlefield situation, I think that the Roman short sword was a lot better, the one the Legionnaires were using. Because in a battlefield situation, the problem with the katana is that it's really difficult to wield in one hand, so you can't really carry a shield with it. You can wield it in one hand, but you won't really get the full effect of it, which is why I think that the Roman short sword is probably a better weapon on the battlefield, because you kind of need a shield if you're going to fight in units. Now, the samurai were clad in very heavy armor, so they could block arrows and shit with that, but still, if you don't have a shield on the battlefield, it's going to be really tough going up against opponents with a shield. I would really like to see a battle between Japanese samurai and Roman legionnaires. I think the Roman legionnaires would win that, because I don't think the samurai would be able to cut through the tower shields of the Roman legions, and the legions would just stab the samurai to death, I think. But it might be a close call, though. Difficult to say. But yeah. Katanas are pretty cool. I have one. It's not sharp, but I have one. 8. What is your favorite Hearthstone card? Oh, Jesus, that's a tricky one. What is my favorite Hearthstone card? I don't know, Emperor Thaurissan, maybe? I do like Emperor Thaurissan a lot. I think it's really cool to have a card that reduces the mana cost of the other cards, which means you can play more cards. Yeah, I like Emperor Thaurissan a lot. He's a pretty cool guy. He's viable in most control decks. It's always nice to play him. I like him because even if he gets killed the turn he gets played, he still gets some value since his battle cry activates at the end of your turn. So he's always valuable in a sense. 9. Are you interested in Warhammer 40k? I am more interested in Warhammer Fantasy Battles, to be quite honest. I did play some 40k at one point. I played some Space Marines Demon... They're not called Demon Hunters. What are they called? They're the guys that kill the demons. Space Marines... Grey... Something Grey. Grey Guards? I can't remember. Grey... They were grey. They're kind of cool. That would be everything I wanted to ask, and hope you answered all my questions, and I hope your channel keeps growing without attracting too many trolls. Well, you're here, after all. TC. Thank you, TC. Lovely picture. Alright, so the next mail comes in from Mr. Ice-T Peach, and he says, Hi Mangs, I'm really sorry that I haven't followed your channel for quite a while, but I can't watch a Let's Play of a game I really dislike, Fire Emblem 13. It's better to reprieve the community with my anti-Fire Emblem 13 comments. We'll be back for Fire Emblem 14, of course. That's fair. Anyway, I got a few questions for you. Are there any new weapons, staves, items, mission objectives, and other mechanics like ledges from Fire Emblem 10 you would like to see in a future Fire Emblem Parch? Fire Emblem... you mean Fire Emblem game, right? Okay. Anything I'd like to see in a future Fire Emblem? Well, since I don't know Fates all that well, some of these things might actually already be in Fates, so it will be a little bit tricky for me to answer that. But personally, like weapons I'd like to see in a future Fire Emblem game? I don't know. Like, or any new... Yeah, so, okay, I get it now. Not any old ones that I like to see returns, but something completely new. I get it. In the weapon department, I don't know. I feel like the weapons are fine as they are. In terms of staves, I definitely would like to see more diverse staves. Like, for example, it would be nice to see staves that, for example, buff other stats. Like, we have the barrier staff, which gives resistance. How about having a shield staff that buffs your defense? Or a luck staff that buffs your luck by 7 points and then it degrades by 1 point. Maybe even a haste staff that buffs your speed. Would be nice to have, like, stat buff staves. Not saying that they should be really common, but would be nice to see more diverse staves. I would also like to see the rewarp staff from Fire Emblem 5 return. That's a really cool concept to be able to warp yourself around the map. Items. I would really like to see some sort of stat boosting items like the Crusader Scrolls and the Star Sphere return, because I really like the idea that you can control your units' growths by giving them items. But it would have to have some sort of mechanic to prevent them from being traded around. Like, I would personally reintroduce Crusader Scrolls, but I would make it so that you have to have them equipped on you for an entire level before they actually start working. So if you trade over a Crusader Scroll before you level up, you're not going to get the increased growths on the next level up, but you're going to get it on the level up after that again. And the intent and purpose behind this is to prevent the player from trading them around, because that becomes very tedious. So yeah. 4. Mission objectives. Yeah, what happened to fucking defense chapters? Like, yeah, I know they were in Radiant Dawn, but fucking hell, bring them back. I love fucking defense chapters. And I personally think that the developers of Fire Emblem are really lazy, because there are so many fucking cool mission objectives you could have. Like, for example, I've been writing down a few, because I do want to make a hack one day. And I was thinking, imagine having an objective that was like this. You're in a fort, you've infiltrated a fort, and your objective is to break 3 different walls in the fort so an army can enter. Yeah? So you have to, you infiltrate the fort through the basement level, you come up in the middle of the fort, there's a lot of soldiers inside, and more reinforcements will constantly spawn around you all the time, so you're on a timer. And you have to break 3 sets of walls in different places. And when you do that, you win. Like, things like that. Why can't we have more diversified mission objectives? How about an escort mission? You have to escort an NPC, or make him a player-controlled units, or maybe a green unit. I don't know. But you have to escort a unit through a mountain pass. and people try to kill him and you have to shield him. Wouldn't that be nice? How about trying to hold 3 different forts for an extended period of time? Like, hold these 3 forts for 5 consecutive turns. If you do that, you win. How about, like, sniping tree? Like, I really like the Midnight Sun chapter where you're supposed to snipe 3 generals and then run. That was fucking fantastic. Love that one. There's so much room for diverse and cool objectives. There's no reason that every single chapter in Fire Emblem should be a throne seize or a boss kill. It's really just laziness on the developer's part, really. 5. Other mechanics like ledges from Fire Emblem. I didn't like ledges all too much. I think that it's a nice concept, but I feel like the ledges kinda were too good. So if there was a ledge, you were kind of forced to use it, you know? Like, there is a ledge here. I obviously want to stand on top of it so I can attack down, and that kind of limits your mobility because you want to stand on that ledge and nowhere else, if you know what I mean. So I didn't really like the ledges. Other mechanics that I would like, similar mechanics, I don't know. I would enjoy a high ground advantage. It just shouldn't be as massive as the ledges. I think that if you attack down a pair of stairs, you should perhaps get a 10+ bonus to your hit or something. That'd be nice. Maybe make it so that when you run up a pair of stairs, you run a little bit slower, but down a pair of stairs, you run faster. I don't know. Things like that would really be cool. Anyway. So he continues. 6. Would you like to see a number system in Fire Emblem? Each ally, opponent, and NPC and a partner unit has an own number, which tells when it may attack. Player and enemy face would be vanished. Yeah, kind of like Heroes of Might and Magic, where units have speed stats and they move according to their speed stat. I don't think that would work in Fire Emblem. I think that the enemy player / player face works really well. I wouldn't change that. I think it would be a lot of shit to keep track on, because you would have to look at every single unit all the time to figure out who would go next. Unless there would be like a nice slideshow at the bottom of the screen showing you what unit that moves next, but still it would be really tedious and I wouldn't like it. It works for other games, I don't think it would work for Fire Emblem. 7. Could you imagine to try out a part of Shin Megami Tensei series? For example, the Devil Survivor series for the 3DS is a round-based strategical series. Unlike in Fire Emblem, it has a turn order system, like explained in 6. The second part features a support system. Maybe. Haven't really heard about it. 8. Is the story or gameplay in a Fire Emblem game more important to you? Sorry, is the story or gameplay in a Fire Emblem game more important for you, if you had to decide? Definitely gameplay. Gameplay every single time. The story is only really important the first or second time you play through the game, but in order for a game to be replayable, it definitely needs good gameplay. Gameplay is everything. But I think that there is no excuse for not having both. If a Fire Emblem game has a crappy story like Awakening, there is definitely a lot of reason to rant on it. But I think that at the end of the day, when you play through the story, and you want to replay the game, you kind of skip the dialogue anyway. And then it's all about the gameplay. So I will excuse poor story if the gameplay is good. Many thanks in advance for responding, and greetings from Germany by Mr. Ice Tea Peach. Well, that's nice. Auf Wiedersehen, my friend. Alright, so this next mail comes in from Monastir, and he says, hello there. It seems a bunch of Let's Plays have reappeared and freshly appeared. I guess that might mean Mango Monday comes soon. Let's do this. You would be right, good sir. 1. Who is your favorite character from Fire Emblem 6, since it's your favorite game? Would it be the children of Pent and Louise? No, I mean, you have to kind of like branch it into 3 different aspects, I guess. My favorite character personality-wise, my favorite character gameplay-wise, and my favorite character appearance-wise. Because all those 3 are different characters. My favorite character personality-wise in Binding Blade is actually Trek, the Cavalier, that joins alongside Zealots, you know, the guy that you usually bench. I think that Trek is hilarious. He has amazing supports. I think that Don and Mech also pointed this out in their Fire Emblem 6 0% growth Let's Play. Just go and read Trek's support conversations, and you'll understand where I'm coming from. Trek is absolutely hilarious, and I really wish that there were more characters like him, because he's very unique. There hasn't been a character since Trek and there probably never will be, I think. So yeah, my personal, or my favorite character gameplay-wise is probably Gonzalez, or Fear. It's kind of a time between the two. I really like Gonzalez because he is ridiculously powerful if used right, and you can kind of like, if you take the correct precautions, such as saving the secret book and making sure he gets the Sword River Axe, and also early promoting him. I think that's important, like promoting him at a level 10 or 15 to really unleash his full potential. As well as pairing him up with people such as Echidna to increase his hit rates. Gonzalez can be an absolute monster, and I really like him. I think he's one of the strongest axe users in Binding Blade. Not that that's saying much, but... and there's also a time between Fear. As I said, I am a shameless Fear fanboy. I really like Fear. I always liked Fear. Despite being a Myrmidon that comes really late and being sort of an S-type character, and the fact that I don't really like Swordmasters all that much. I like Fear because the chapter she appears in is also the chapter where you get 1,000,000 pirate reinforcements, and she can very easily grind herself up on those pirates without much of a risk, and you can easily have her become like level 15 or almost level 20 by the end of that chapter if you allow her to kill all of the reinforcements. So I always had a soft spot for Fear. The moment she appeared, the first time I saw her, I knew that I would really like her a lot. So yeah, that's that, I guess. Also, I like the fact that Swordmasters get the 30% crit boost in Binding Blade. I think it's kind of sad that they nerfed that in Blazing Sword, because I feel like Swordmasters are generally underpowered, and they should get as much buff during the player phase as possible. So yeah, Fear / Gonzalez. Alright, 2. Have you ever played Game Boy Wars? Yeah, I have. It's not that great, but for a Game Boy game, it's really good. I don't think I'm ever going to Let's Play it. Maybe like a single episode just to showcase it. We'll have to see. 3. I realized that in Fire Emblem, your favorite classes are mounted classes. Duke Knights, Paladins, Forest Knights, and so on. Yeah, you would be correct in that assumption. So to differ a little bit, what is your favorite non-mounted class? I think it's gonna be a tie between the Dancer / Bard and the Hero. I really like Dancers. I think that they're amazing utility units, and I think that they kind of blew it in Fire Emblem by not including more utility. I think that the game needs more utility. I haven't completely played Fates yet, so that might change there, but I feel like they blew it with Generals, for example. Generals should be able to, like, inspire people to fight better. Like, they're Generals, that's what they do. Like, they could have been like Dancers, but instead of allowing units to move again, they could have, like, given units increased, like, avoidance and hit or something. I don't know. I just like utility in Fire Emblem in general, so I'm a really big sucker for Dancers. And I also like Heroes because they can wield hand axes, and they're, like, better fighters, in my opinion. Because they start out as mercenaries, and mercenaries are infinitely much better than fighters. And while I do like warriors, the heroes are just so much better because they can use both swords and axes, and hand axes are great. So yeah. Anyway, 4. Let's see if I can keep this short. You already failed. Favorite music genre? I like trance, I guess you could say. 5. What do you think of a CO in Advanced Wars that would be able to shift terrain? Sounds like a cool idea, but it would need to be temporary. Permanently changing the terrain is really game-breaking, and it could also fuck over a lot of campaign levels, because certain terrain has to be in certain places to, you know, if it's sort of like the gimmick of the map, it would kind of be silly if you had a CO that could break the gimmick. But yeah, like a CO that has a power that, like, temporarily changes the terrain would be really cool. Like, create, like, swap out plain tiles with forest tiles for one turn, and then have some bonus in forests maybe, or have all mountains become have all mountains become forests, or have the rivers freeze and create, like, passable terrain for land units. That would be kind of cool. I would like that. Anyway, 6. Last one, I promise. Will you increase the enemy growth during the Fire Emblem 8 randomizer by maybe 20%, since Fire Emblem 8 is generally considered among the easiest Fire Emblem games? Or will you make some challenge to make it harder? Yeah, I think 20% increased growth is reasonable. I talked to Mr. Entenen. He recently played a, I think it was a reversed recruitment Fire Emblem 8 randomizer. I don't really remember, but he adjusted the enemy growth rates by 20%, and he says that it gets ridiculously tough towards the mid-game. You don't really feel it all that much during the early game, because if you increase growth rates, enemies don't really have that many levels to grow, so it won't really make a difference in the early chapters. But he says that towards the mid-game, he really struggled hard, because the enemies really start to beef up, so to say. So yeah, I probably will increase the growth rates by 20%. Sorry for this being too long, keep up the good work and have a good day/night. Sincerely, Monasteer. Thank you, Monasteer. Alright, so this next mail comes in from a guy named Connor, and he says, Dear Mangs! Firstly, allow me to start with the almost obligatory thanks for making such amazing content so regularly. Honestly, there are a few Let's Players out there whose videos I look forward to. You're one of the last ones left in my subscription box. Your content is amazing, and I love your commentary. Thank you so much for everything you do. Oh, thank you, Connor. 1. This is probably something you've answered before, but my first question is this. As a Fire Emblem video maker, what are the things I can do to improve my Let's Plays and to make them more appealing to a wider audience? I've been doing a Path of Radiance Let's Play for a while now. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm worried I'm not doing the game justice. What would be your advice to improve Fire Emblem Let's Plays of any kind of Let's Play in general? Alright. So I actually prepared a little bit for this mail because you included your YouTube username at the end of this mail, so I actually went and checked out your channel, and I looked through a couple of your Path of Radiance parts, and I've gathered a little bit of feedback for you. So number 1, you post firsts on your own videos. Don't do that. That looks incredibly bad. Like, just don't. Number 2, you need a better microphone, but I think you already know this. Number 3, you need to work on your shit-talking a little bit, because shit-talking is a very important skill when you're Let's Playing. When there's really nothing to talk about, you need to fill that empty space with shit-talking, and preferably entertaining shit-talking. You can't talk about the game 100% of the time, and I feel like that's a lot of what you're doing, and that becomes very tiresome. Like, I just watched that part where Riss dies in that prison map. And effectively, when the ambush spawns comes out, you spend a good, like, 20 seconds saying, oh, I think Riss will die. Yeah, I think Riss will die. Yeah, definitely Riss will die. I think Riss will die now. Yeah, he will die. Yeah, Riss will die now. Yeah, he will definitely die now. Yeah, Riss will die. Riss will die. Yeah, he will definitely die. Riss will die. That gets very tiresome to listen to. Like, I understand that you panicked at that moment, and that I probably would have said much of the same in that situation, but a general theme of your Let's Plays is that you generally you repeat yourself a little bit too much, and you talk about the game when there's nothing to talk about. You just repeat what you said instead of, like, talking about random crap. Tell a story. Tell something, you know, something you did at the store today, or tell your opinion about a certain Fire Emblem game, or just do something while there's not a lot to talk about, because you can't fill 100% of the empty space with talking about the game, unless there is a lot of things to talk about, but then you have to be really precise. Analyze the game, for example. This is what I do. Like, if I like things to talk about, I talk about a certain character, or I analyze the map, or I just find something to talk about. Shit talking is your number 1 skill as a Let's Player. So yeah. And the last advice, and this isn't really something that's really easy to work on, but you need to work on your presence. I don't really have any specific advice on how to do this, really. It's a skill, I guess, that just comes naturally to some people, and something that you just get naturally over time. But I feel like you're not really taking command of your own Let's Play. I feel like your voice is a little bit weak, maybe. You're not kind of there. When I open up your Let's Play, I don't get this whole, this is a personality that just hit me in the face. I feel like a guy is just silently commentating. So you need to take command, and you need to perhaps up your energy level, drink a couple of Red Bulls, or drink some coffee before recording. Just get your energy levels up and be a little bit more hyped, I guess. So yeah, that's the criticism I can give to you. I hope you know, don't take it the wrong way. You asked me, so I just decided to give you some real feedback in front of everyone. So yeah, do with it what you will. I hope you get more views, and good luck with your Let's Play. Anyway. Number 2, what is your favorite class in Fire Emblem? Paladin. 3. Kent versus Sane. Sane all the way. I like Sane personality-wise and growth-wise and base stats-wise. I think Sane is the better unit of the two because he has more speed, and that is really about now. Wait a minute, does he actually get more speed? I think he does. Pretty sure Sane gets more speed. Yeah, I think he does. 4. Alec versus Noish, aka Pursuit versus No Pursuit. You know what? I actually really like Noish. If you give him Arden's Pursuit Ring, he is amazing. Yeah, Lack of Pursuit really fucks him over. But Alec, I feel, is actually really shit in Fire Emblem 4. Because, yeah, he has Pursuit, but his strength gain is so bad. He really, really falls off towards the Augustria arc. Noish is also a really good father because he passes down critical hits, which is an amazing skill to give for example, Iris children. So yeah, Noish, just give him the Pursuit Ring Arden gets in the secret event in Chapter 2. Or is it Chapter 3? No, I think Chapter 1, no, Chapter 1 is the Forest Girl, actually. So yeah, in Chapter 2 you get the Pursuit Ring. Just give that to Noish, and he actually becomes really fucking good. So yeah, I like Noish actually in this regard, even though Alec is usually the type of cavalier I like. 5. I've come to understand that you're bald, or at least bordering that kind of hairstyle. Is it called a hairstyle if there's no hair? Do you consciously make the choice to go bald? And if so, why? As someone with a lot of hair, I think it's weird to think about. Do you miss having larger amount of hair? Yeah, I mean, I'm not bald. I am. My hair is very short, like almost on the borderline of being skinned. I've never had a lot of hair. It's just something that runs in my family. I started losing my hair when I was like 15, 16. I don't know, just genetics, I guess. But I've always really liked having short hair. It's amazing to have short hair. I don't like having a lot of hair because when I have short hair, it just feels better, you know. I wake up in the morning. There's nothing wrong with my hair. I can just, you know, go straight to work. I think that having short hair is amazing, and I think that I personally look really good with it. I think that I really nailed the look, and I think some people look good with short hair, other people look good with long hair, and to be quite honest, there was a part of my life where I was a little bit ashamed of it, because I started losing my hair around, like, I guess what you call it, you get a moon, that's what we say in Norway anyway, because you get like a bald spot at the back of your head. So there was a time where I was really ashamed of it, and it was something that really bothered me a lot. But then I grew up a little bit, and I realized that you kind of just have to boss your own style. That's at least what I like to tell myself. You gotta fucking boss your style. You gotta be proud of your hair. You gotta be proud of how you look. Because if you are ashamed of how you look, it's gonna make you appear less attractive to other people. If you are constantly, like, it's like a girl. Girls that think they're ugly automatically become a little bit more ugly because of their attitude and posture. Girls who think they're really sexy automatically becomes a little bit more sexy because of the way they behave, you know? So your personality and your appearance and your posture and the way you carry yourself actually reflect your attractiveness in a very big way. So I just decided at some point I'm just gonna fucking rock this style, and I just skinned my head, and I haven't gone back since, and I've gotten a lot of compliments from girls saying that I look really good. So, you know, I kind of just went with it. Anyway, I know these questions were weird, but I was curious about them. No, they were good questions, actually. I really liked them. Once again, thank you so much for all the work you put into your YouTube channel. You're an inspiration to me. Yours sincerely, Connor. Alright. And he also leaves, he says to leave it out of the Mangs Monday, but he includes his YouTube username, which is Connor. Spoiler. Alright. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was that mail. Thank you, Connor. Alright, and the final mail of Mangs Monday comes in from a guy named Will Lindberg. He calls himself the Egotistical Fool, and he says, Dear Mangs, I've been following your content for a long span of time, since your Radiant Dawn playthrough, and I am a happy subscriber. I enjoy your high-quality Fire Emblem videos and your Advanced Wars content. If not for watching your Advanced Wars 2 videos, I would be failing at the game without your advice. I am ecstatic you are covering Awakening and Fates when it comes out. I am also glad you will not be tolerating spoiler trolls when it comes to Fates. I'm trying to avoid spoilers because I am on my new school newspaper, and we have agreed to have a double review of Fates. Oh, nice. One of my friends will cover Hushido, and as I have played more games in the series, I will be covering Nor. As a result, I will probably not watch your Fates video when they come out, and avoiding opinion influence and all that. Alright, questions. 1. As you know, when it comes to Fire Emblem stats, speed is borderline broken and skill is by far the worst. This makes a high speed growth desired to even be considered good. I have been considering changing the doubling formula, so that instead of having 4 more speed than the opponent, it would be that speed needs to be 4 higher than the opponent's skill. What do you think? Yes, I saw this suggestion on the subreddit as well. I wonder if that was you. If not, someone has the same idea. I really like this. However, I think that it would really fuck over classes like fighters. I actually had this discussion with Mr. Antinan, and he made that argument. It would really fuck over classes axe users in general with low skill, because even if you have a fighter with who's fast, or a pirate with 15 or 16 speed, he will get doubled if his skill is 9. So that is the big problem with that. You're essentially nerfing units with low skill by trying to make skill more viable. And I think that's a really bad thing. I do agree that speed is broken, and I think that in order, what I would do if I were to design a hack is I would change this, currently, in most Fire Emblem games, the formula is that speed gives you 2 points of avoid per point. I would change this to 1 point of avoid, and I would instead change luck to give 2 points of avoid instead of 1. So the amount of avoid on characters would be roughly the same. Units with low luck would have a little bit less, and units with more luck would be having a little bit more. But I think that at the end of the day, speed is too good because it gives you too much offense and defense in one stats. Awakening did take some steps by changing the amount of speed you need to double by 5 instead of 4, which is usually what you need in most games. Mr. Internet also made an argument that he would like to see the return of the pursuit skill from Fire Emblem 4. I personally don't agree with that, but it would be fun to see it return, because it would make speed a lot less important on units that don't have pursuit. I also think that if you incorporate a lot more skills that require the skill stat, such as in Path of Radiance, the Adept skill actually procced on skill, not speed. And I like that, because it meant that skill was a lot more useful. They changed it to speed in Radiant Dawn, which I think was a bad thing, because speed is already so good. Having it also proc certain skills, you don't want to make speed any more valuable than it already is. But I think that at the end of the day, it's fine to have some stats be stronger than others. At the end of the day, defense and strength and speed are going to be the best stats. Skill, luck, and resistance going to be a little bit less important. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And hit points, of course, being probably the least valuable stats. And as I said, I don't think that's necessarily a problem, but I would like to see speed toned down a little. But as I said, your suggestion would nerf the shit out of fighters and pirates and other axe-wielding units, and they are already pretty weak, and this change would probably make them unplayable, because they would get doubled by everything, and that's not very good. I mean, what you can do, essentially, perhaps, is that you could have the formula, but if your speed is higher than your skill, then you use your speed. But if your skill is higher than your speed, then you use your skill to not get doubled. Maybe. I don't know. It would still be problematic, though. Anyway, number 2. More of a request than a question, but the number 1 character I would like to see spotlighted is Merlinus. He is such a different character in terms of gameplay, for better or for worse. It would be a fun episode. Yeah, I could see myself doing Merlinus. That would be a fun spotlight, actually. Well, I don't want to waste all your time, as I am nowhere near as witty as most of your fans. I just have many things I had to say. Thank you for informing me that I made the previous mail too long. Oh yeah, I did. And gave me the chance to slim it down. Most people would just throw mails out. Sincerely, Will Lindbergh, the egotistical fool. Yeah, thanks for the mail. And we'll only do 3 mails today, because the mail segment is getting long enough as it is, and I don't want 1-hour Mangs Mondays. So we'll end it here. Even though I know that I have a lot of mails to read, I picked these 3. So hope you guys enjoyed this mail segments. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end. The Mangs Monday is over. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, you can send in mails at mangsandzerul@gmail.com if you want them read out on the show. I can't promise you I'll read out your mail, but I try my best. Anyway, please consider leaving a like and a comment if you found this week's edition of Mangs Monday enjoyable. And as always, I shall catch you guys next time. Have an awesome Monday and have an awesome rest of the week.